What did Karl Popper criticize about Freud? What makes an idea scientific? Is it its complexity, its ability to explain everything, or its ability to be proven wrong? In the 20th century, one man posed a challenge to some of the most popular psychological theories of his time, not by disproving them, but by asking, can they even be tested at all? Welcome to Chronicles of Legends, where today we explore the philosophical confrontation between Karl Popper, the father of scientific rationalism, and Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis. This is not just a story about science. It's a story about truth, logic, and the limits of understanding the human mind. In the early 1900s, Sigmund Freud's ideas were revolutionizing how people understood human behavior. Dreams, repression, unconscious desires. Freud offered a framework that could explain everything from childhood trauma to war, depression, and hysteria. He introduced terms like the ID, ego, and superego, and he proposed that much of what we do is driven by hidden psychological forces beneath our awareness. For many, Freud's theories offered meaning in a chaotic world. But for Karl Popper, an emerging philosopher of science born in Vienna in 1902, something didn't sit right. Freud's theories explained too much. Popper wasn't a psychologist, he was a philosopher of science. His life's work was focused on answering a deceptively simple question: what distinguishes science from pseudo-science? To Popper, true scientific theories were those that made risky predictions, claims that could potentially be proven false by evidence. This principle became the foundation of his philosophy of science, known as falsifiability. Here's the key idea. If a theory cannot in principle be falsified, it is not scientific. And this is where Popper's problem with Freud begins. Freud's psychoanalysis could explain nearly any behavior, and that, Popper argued, was exactly the issue. If a man pushes a child into a river, Freud could say it's a manifestation of repressed aggression. If he saves a child from drowning, Freud might say it's repressed guilt or a savior complex. If he does nothing at all, perhaps it's fear of paternal failure or libido suppression. In every scenario, Freud's theory provided an explanation, but Popper asked, could it ever be wrong? This was the heart of his criticism. Freud's theory was nonfalsifiable. It was so elastic, so adaptable to any human action, that no possible behavior could disprove it. In Popper's words, a theory that explains everything explains nothing. Popper didn't stop with Freud. He also took aim at Alfred Adler, another major figure in early psychology, whose theory of the inferiority complex suggested that people are driven by a deep need to overcome personal inadequacies. Popper recalled a moment in his youth when he presented a difficult case to an Adlerian psychologist. The reply, "That is typical for an inferiority complex." But then Popper challenged him, what behavior wouldn't be explained by this theory? The psychologist paused, then admitted, none. To Popper, this confirmed his suspicion. Adler's theory, like Freud's, could never be proven wrong, no matter what. Popper's critique wasn't about whether Freud was right or wrong. It was deeper. It was about whether Freud's framework qualified as science at all. He wasn't saying Freud's ideas had no value, rather that their strength lay in philosophy, myth or literature, not in empirical science. Science, Popper argued, must live on the edge of failure, and it must stick its neck out and risk being proven false. That's how knowledge grows. In contrast, Freud's system was hermetically sealed. It confirmed what it already believed. That to Popper was dogma, not discovery. The Popper-Freud debate continues to echo through academic halls to this day. Psychoanalysis has evolved, found new interpretations, and flourished in art, literature, and even therapy. But in scientific psychology, its influence has waned, partly because of Popper's challenge. His emphasis on falsifiability became a cornerstone of modern science. In physics, biology, and psychology, the idea that a good theory must be vulnerable to disproof remains a guiding light. Freud, on the other hand, remains an intellectual giant, not because his ideas were scientific in the strictest sense, but because they shaped how we talk about the mind, desire, and human complexity. Karl Popper taught us a vital lesson. Truth is not what explains the most. Truth is what survives the test of being proven wrong. In a world filled with opinions, theories, and explanations, Popper reminds us to ask not only what a theory says, but also, could it be wrong? And if it could, how would we know? Freud gave us a map of the unconscious. Popper handed us the compass of critical thought. And somewhere between them lies the difficult journey toward understanding what it means to be human. Thanks for watching Chronicles of Legends. If this exploration challenged your perspective, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with fellow truth seekers. And remember, not all that explains is science.